Welcome to Texas, the Lone Star State. After Carlsbad, I drove 450 miles east towards my first stop in San Antonio. San Antonio, if you didn't know, is where the Alamo is. I know I've learned about the Alamo before, and why it's famous, but I had long forgotten that stuff. It was fun to relearn about it. Basically, before Texas was a state and part of the US, Texas repeatedly fought for independence from Mexican rule. The Alamo was the site of a valiant last stand of about 200 Texians against an army of around 2,000 Mexican troops. The defenders of the Alamo refused to surrender and fought to their deaths. News of the battle spread, and mustered people to join the Texian army. The Mexican army was defeated a month and a half later in San Jacinto. As the sun was starting to go down, not too far away, I looked for something I had read about called the San Antonio Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is super nice. It's this river that has walkable paths on both sides. There's riverboats, fun lights, and tons of restaurants and other things along it. This would probably be such a fun thing to come to regularly and try new places to eat. I like this a lot. San Antonio is really nice. I enjoyed my time here, but there's still much more for me to see. My next stop, just a bit north, is the state capital, Austin. I found this funny little stop called the Museum of the Weird. I don't want to just go to 1,000 different aquariums and space museums on my trip, so this piqued my interest. This place has all kinds of weird stuff. Lots of circus memorabilia, if that's even the right word. Notably, information on P.T. Barnum and freak shows. Shrunken heads and other oddities. The real story of this elephant man was like the saddest thing I've ever read. A bunch of different stuff.
Came to him that night. The elephant to men and women who would treat him as a normal, intelligent man, and not as a monster.
Upstairs, there's this exhibit with tons of sculptures and stuff about classic horror movies. It's pretty neat. A movie history buff would probably like this a lot. Absolutely one of the more unique things I've stopped at. I think the museum earns its name. And, practically right around the corner, is the state capitol building. I've liked stopping at the different capitals to get a feeling of the different cultures and history in each state. It's interesting. I also just like to see the similar but different architecture and murals in each of the capitals.
By the Mexican government, anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 troops, and then on the final morning marches.
I feel like Texas totally embodies the independent-minded aspect of the American spirit. I like that a lot about the state. Its history and culture is fun to me. After Austin, I headed east towards Houston. I really didn't plan on doing much here. Mainly, I just wanted to be able to say that I've been to the beach in Texas. Beaches are always nice, but the sand was very hard and clay-like. Maybe I was just here at a bad time. It was still a fun quick stop though. Ditching Houston, I went northwest to Waco to stop at a place called Mammoth Monument. I wasn't sure what to expect with this, but I thought it was awesome. It's this indoor excavation site of several mammoth skeletons. And yeah, those are 100% real skeletons, by the way. It's crazy how well preserved they are. These weren't repositioned at all. This is how they were dug up. You can clearly see the lower jaw and teeth. Definitely not an all-day activity, but I'm really glad I stopped here. I've never seen anything quite like this. Finally, as I headed north, I stopped at Fort Worth in Dallas. In Fort Worth, I went to the Stockyards, which is basically this big, fun, touristy district. There's tons of gift shops selling cowboy gear, lots of fun activities, and tons of places to eat. Just like the Riverwalk in San Antonio, this place got on my list of things that I'd love to come back to one day and experience more thoroughly. Just a fun place to be. I mostly just passed through Dallas. I did stop by this building though, which, if you don't know, this is the building that JFK was assassinated from. Pretty weird being here in this spot. Before leaving Texas, I knew I absolutely needed to try some authentic Texan barbecue. A friend of mine that I visited in Houston recommended me this place called Hutchins, just north of Dallas. I ended up ordering the ribs and brisket. Man, do I love barbecue. This was so good. As I headed out, I was getting a few last quick shots of the outside of the restaurant. One of the employees saw me and invited me back inside to show me the meat they had cooking. This footage is hard for me to watch because I just want to eat it. I'm glad I got lucky and got to see this. Such a fun way to end my time in Texas.